The leaks are pouring in, and it looks like the next Destiny 2 DLC, The Final Shape, is shaping up to be a game changer. While we can't guarantee the validity of these leaks, the rumors are certainly tantalizing. From a frozen wasteland to a mystical boss fight, we're about to explore all the leaked details that could make this expansion one of the most exciting yet. So buckle up and get ready to dive into all the leaked information about the Final Shape DLC for Destiny 2. So from what the leaks are saying, it looks like Xivu Arath isn't mentioned, which could potentially mean she's no longer among the living, but we can't be totally sure just yet. Apparently, Rolk and Nezarec is leading the Taken in some alternate dimension that the Traveler has sent them to, and it seems like there won't be a subclass for the Final Shape. I personally can't say that I'm too happy about this. I think instead of taking the criticism of the community as don't add a subclass if you can't create a good story, but rather they should have made a subclass and tried their hardest to make a good story as well to prove the community wrong. But instead, if these leaks are true, it looks like we are not going to be getting a subclass. But here's where it starts to get really interesting. There are some familiar places making a return, kinda like how we saw in Black Ops 3 Zombies with the Revelation style map. The Final Shape is being talked about as this big event that's the result of all time and space collapsing into each other. Now, for these next couple of leaks, I will be mentioning something called the Valley, and I will tell you what that means at the end of the video. As for Cayde-6, brace yourself because he's coming back. But hold up, don't get too excited just yet. He won't be coming back in the way you might think. Instead, he'll be acting as our trusty guide throughout the valley. But there's a catch, he's only popping up inside the Time Valley. And there's a possibility that Nathan could be voicing him again, but we don't know for certain yet. The Final Shape raid sounds like it's going to be a wild ride, with a 3-phase boss and an unknown number of encounters. However, the leaks suggest that there could be up to 3. The Witness is a mystical creature with a phase that's similar to No Face from Spirited Away, but we won't be able to kill it in the raid because it's all tied up with the darkness. I don't know what that means, but instead, we'll have to rip it out of the darkness in a 12-man epilogue style mission that we might get to play after the raid. It doesn't really say exactly, but I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be after the raid because that would just make sense. And get this, the Witness makes a run for it to another dimension, but the Traveler creates a portal to let us follow it. No word yet on whether we would go inside the Traveler, but I'm assuming this is where the 12-man mission comes into play. This time we'll be taking down the Witness for good by ripping it out of the darkness. So, I mean, that sounds cool as fuck. I mean, if that happens, I should imagine a raid. Okay, going through all this mission, obviously gonna have amazing music. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw an Xula's video because he made an amazing video on the potential raid. Literally doesn't even talk about leaks at all. It's literally just his own idea. It's really amazing. I do suggest that you go watch it. And go subscribe while you're at it because he definitely deserves way more subscribers than he has. Every week we'll be finding memories of frozen guardians in the valley, but don't worry, they're not dead. It's kind of like how we lost our light subclasses back in Destiny 2 Year 1, and there's supposed to be a set piece featuring frozen Oryx, which sounds pretty cool. Speaking of the valley, it's called Entropy, and everything is frozen, not in a stasis way, but more like frozen in time and space. It's like life can't move forward or backward, and the tower is at the center of it all, which is why we need to unfreeze it. Apparently, there are some old set pieces making an appearance here, but we'll need to wait until the expansion drops to vary all this info. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this place is inside of the Traveler. If these leaks are real and if these leaks aren't just completely made up, I'm gonna say that the Valley of Entropy, or whatever the it's called, is going to be inside of the Traveler, and I think we're gonna figure that out at some point. I don't know if that's like we're gonna know already, but it just seems likely. And I really like this idea of bringing everything together, of like all of Destiny. It really creates a kind of a form of nostalgia, and I think that's what they were trying to do with Shadowkeep. But if they could pull this off, this could be probably one of the coolest expansions they've ever made. And even if these leaks aren't true, I'm sure that they're gonna do something great. Like I said in my old videos, you know, these are just leaks. There's no way to actually confirm these things. I will throw in a picture real quick of what the leaker put in, and they were given that a while ago. Before Lightfall was released, these leaks were posted, so that's pretty interesting to think about. And if you want to go see the leaks for yourself, I'll leave the link in the description and a link to Xula's channel as well as the video about the raid he made. The leaks are on a Google document, so it's kind of formatted. It's very well formatted. I kind of just made a script covering it all. If I missed anything and you guys want to let me know, you can in the comments. But I'm pretty sure I covered it all. Going back to the frozen Oryx thing, I do feel like that's a stretch, as well as Cayde-6. I think maybe, actually that's not true. I think Cayde-6 could be very likely, just because he was a very important character to the story of Destiny, at least for the Light and Dark saga. And I think that him coming back, I mean, that's going to be pretty cool. I think that could be interesting, and I think that the final shape would benefit off of it. As well as the nostalgia thing I mentioned before. Xivu Arath not being mentioned in the leaks kind of upsets me, just because I want Xivu involved at some point. I know we have the story of the three sisters, and I just want to finish it off at some point. I hope we get to finish it maybe in the future seasons, maybe like next season or the season after or the season after, just sometime either during the final shape or before the final shape. I hope we are able to end the story of Xivu Arath, just finishing off the legacy of the three sisters. That would be amazing. Now, in the leaks, it did say there was no mention of Xivu Arath or Cayde-6, so I'm going to go ahead and assume when they said that, this was obviously before Lightfall, so they don't know that Cayde-6 is already dead. Yeah, spoiler for Lightfall, sorry if you haven't played it yet, but Cayde-6 does die. We kill Cayde-6. But yeah, so that about Xivu Arath and Cayde-6 is interesting. Now, Rolk and Nezarec is leading the Taken in some alternate dimensions that the Traveler has sent them to. I don't know what this means, and it's not mentioned at all in the rest of the leaks, but maybe this alternate dimension is the same place that the Witness... This is all just tying together and really confusing, but I'm going to assume that this is the Traveler. I think this is inside the Traveler. I think the Valley is something that the Traveler either made or brought to us, and I think we're going to use it to take down the darkness. And then the, the set pieces coming back, I think that could involve, like, Mars, Venus, the Reef, maybe just a bunch of other stuff from Destiny 1 as well as Destiny 2, maybe part of Leviathan. I think it all could be something like Prophecy. If you remember in the dungeon, in the Sparrow area, where, not the actual Sparrow racing part, but the part before that, where you're going through the deserted wasteland thing, there's a bunch of places. So in Season of Arrivals, there was a couple planets that were basically taken by the darkness, and they all were shown in the Prophecy, and they were all covered by a lot of sand and stuff. I think they could do something like that with the Valley, and that's probably what they're going to base it off of. Like, maybe even the Valley will be something like Prophecy. Maybe it's controlled by the Nine. I'm hoping the Nine has something to do with the final shape, just because, more stuff that Bungie hasn't really talked about. Or maybe the Nine will be something to do with the next chapter of Destiny after the Light and Dark saga. And going back to the 12-man epilogue style mission, I'm thinking that is 100% going to be after the raid. Well, I mean, I guess it would have to be. There's no way we're going to have that before the raid. That would make sense. But I'm hoping it's really hard, not just something like preservation or some shit. I hope it's fun. I hope it's something new, and I hope it's interesting, and I hope it finishes off the story of Destiny, and I hope we get to learn what the Traveler is, and I hope there's a lot more that the leaks didn't cover that we get to know. Well, Guardians, that's all we have for now regarding the leaks for the final shape. While we can't confirm the validity of these leaks, it's clear that the upcoming expansion is generating a lot of buzz and excitement. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all the rumors, and I can't wait to see what Bungie has in store for us when the final shape actually drops. Until then, keep your eyes peeled for any more details or leaks, and stay frosty out there, Guardians. Peace.